Hey, Joe here. I'm going to talk to you guys in this video about the biggest mistake that I see e-com business owners making when it comes to their Facebook ads. It will be pretty surprising to kind of see this, I know, for some of you, but just know by the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. It only takes like 30 minutes to fix this, and when you do it, I promise things will never be the same again. First off, the biggest mistake that I see Facebook ads, people who are running Facebook ads who have e-com businesses making, whether it's your agency running them or you have somebody in-house, or like a lot of e-com business owners, you're probably running them yourself. So the biggest mistake is that they're not actually using Facebook for new customer acquisition. So you have to start by asking yourself, when you look at running Facebook ads, are you running them to get new customers, or are you running them to just have a high ROAS on the platform? Now, the answer to that question will lead us to our next point, which is if you are running ads to just get the best ROAS possible, whether it's from a past customer or a new customer, well, then probably just skip this video. You don't need to keep watching. But if you're running it to focus on new customer acquisition, so using Facebook while it's still cheap to get new customers, so that then you can extend the lifetime value you have with that customer over time through things like email, SMS, and just people who will repeat purchase, then watch this video because it's going to be so helpful for you. So a lot of times what I see, and I've audited hundreds of accounts, I worked on hundreds of accounts when it comes to Facebook ads, and spent over, I think probably like 30 million now, if not more, on Facebook ads. And, a lot of months spending like in the 500K to 2 million mark across multiple brands. So the thing I always see is that people do not exclude past customers and people who are already on their contacts list in prospecting. Now, we can ignore the contacts list piece. Contacts list just means if they're in your email database, we're excluding them. Now, that means they could still purchase, and Facebook can actually help aid in that purchase. But when I see people, when I audited an account, and this just happened the other day, where I open up the account, I already know where to look. I'm going to look in custom audiences, in prospecting, and if I see no exclusions there, or I see very minimal exclusions, and I always look for this one thing. I always want to see, are they excluding all customers ever? So it's done in two ways: through an all customers list, where you take the CSV file, you export it from Shopify or whatever CRM you're using, like Klaviyo, and then you can upload it into Facebook. That's the manual way. Or you can actually connect it if you're using things like a ESP, which is an email service provider like Klaviyo. You can actually connect it to the platform, and it will help you to just sync automatically. And how that works is Facebook connects to Klaviyo, and then Klaviyo connects to Shopify, and Shopify passes data through every time to Klaviyo when somebody makes a purchase, and then Klaviyo passes that data over to Facebook. And on the Shopify side, if you're using an app like Recharge or Bold subscriptions, that if you have a subscription business, that will still pass through as well. And then we pass but essentially a segment in Klaviyo over into Facebook. Sorry if this just got like technical really fast. I apologize. Just know you can pause the video, rewatch it, and kind of repeat that piece, because it does get a little technical, but I promise it's worth it, and it will only take 30 minutes for you to fix this. So what I end up looking when I look in an account is we don't have those exclusions, meaning a lot of times Facebook media buyers will just exclude 180-day customers. Now, unless your business has only been around for 6 months, that doesn't make sense, because you have customers dating back to when you started. If you started 2 years ago, you have customers like, 720 or 730 days ago people have purchased, but Facebook's pixel limitation is that you can only exclude 180-day purchasers, meaning we have this whole length of time where we aren't excluding those people, people, but they have purchased before. And what's happening is those people are repurchasing, but because they're not excluded, it looks like your ROAS and your customer acquisition costs are a lot better than they actually are. But really, people are just seeing the ad because by default, the attribution window, at the time of recording this video, we're actually in a big change, but the default attribution window is 28-day click, 1-day view. It's going to be going to a 7-day click, 1-day view. Probably the next week or two. I'm recording this video around January 15th of 2021 when iOS 14 is about to come out, and that's going to be a big shift for all marketers. So we're going to go to a new attribution window, but essentially what happens, and why I bring that up, is because a lot of people end up seeing view through attribution. So if somebody just views the ad and gets served the ad, but they were already going to purchase anyways because they're an existing customer and they purchase every month. If you have like a recurring product like that, then that will get passed through. And it looks like your Facebook ad is the thing that drove that, but they were already a customer. So it's not really prospecting. And so every time I explain this to a business owner that I'm working with, they're always amazed. And I just wanted to make this video because I know that it's probably happening to you and your account as well. And if it's not, go give your agency a virtual high five right now, because they are really, they're making it hard on themselves so that they can help grow your business, which is ultimately what every single marketer should be doing, in my opinion. And I treat every business I work with like it was my own. So I do have some notes here. I just want to make sure I cover everything. Next thing is that doing this exclusion will allow you to stop wasting money in prospecting. Because what's happening now is, because you don't have those exclusions in prospecting, what ends up happening, and just keep in mind, in prospecting, you should exclude remarketing as well. So I always recommend excluding 365-day Facebook and Instagram engagers, 180-day website visitors, and then this all customers list. 180-day website visitors will capture, or 365 engagers will capture everybody who is engaged with an ad or a post on social, so they know who we are. 180-day website visitors will exclude everybody who has visited the website. So that's going to be anybody who just has been to the site in the last 180 days, including people who have purchased in the last 180 days. And then excluding the all customers list is going to exclude all customers as well. Why that is important is because then now we're showing the ad to new people. And also, if you look at your frequency, which is the amount of time the ad has been shown in a given time period, which if you look at it over a month, the max you should be hitting is like 1.5. Sometimes the ad does get shown twice to certain people if Facebook thinks they're likely to buy. But what it does is it tells Facebook, don't serve it to those people because they already know who we are. And your messaging and prospecting should be very simple, very aligned to who, helping educate people around what your product does and the benefits and things like that. But what I see a lot of times when you don't put this exclusion is you will end up serving 3, 4, 5x to the same person in prospecting because it's actually going to remarketing. So imagine I bought this pencil from Dixon.com. And why did I use that name? That's so weird. That's the name on the pencil, but yeah. And I bought it from this site. And when I buy the pencil, I'm like, great, got my pack, love it. And then next month, next day, I start seeing more ads from the pencil. I'm like, I already bought the pencil. I'm not going to buy the pencil again. And I keep seeing more ads. And now every time I go on Instagram or Facebook, that's all I see is these ads from this pencil company. Like, that's ridiculous, right? And that's what you're doing to your business, your customers now. So when you put it in that context, it makes more sense than if you say, well, why would I'm not worried about showing the same ad to people again and again. But if you think about what bugs you or what bugs me about brands, is that sometimes they're just not conscious of what they're doing to me from a messaging standpoint. Same thing like when you see those annoying YouTube ads again and again and again, that's essentially what you're doing to your customers. So it needs to stop. And how do we make it stop? Essentially, all we need to do is connect our, so I'll share the manual route and I'll share the synced route and the more automated route. So the manual route is you export your customer list from whether you use WooCommerce or Shopify or Cratejoy. You export that customer list and you want to get the first name, last name, email, and you export that list. Then you import it in as a custom audience into Facebook. What you're going to do is go to the custom audiences section, go into adding a customer list, and then it will walk you through everything you need to do from there. You want to check the box that you don't include values in that list, because you don't really need the values in this list for this scenario. You're going to go ahead and upload that. Now you're going to make sure that exclusion is going across prospecting and remarketing, and then you can use an inclusion, so you can say, I want to show it to people who are on this list for products to get them to buy other things, but you want to create a separate campaign for that. And you can either call that, I usually call it my loyalty campaign. Some people call it retention campaigns. And with that campaign, you want to include the list and then exclude 30-day purchasers, so that you have some sort of reset. But you give them time to get the last product they bought before you start showing them more ads. And you can get really fancy with all of that. But that's the manual route. The automatic route is, hopefully you're using something like Klaviyo, which is an email service provider, which is an email marketing platform essentially, that allows you to connect Facebook to Klaviyo so that you can just simply sync audiences over. And all you have to do for that is create a segment in Klaviyo that pulls from Shopify. So you create a segment and says the people have done this action, and it just basically says they have placed an order at least once over all time, and you create a segment in Klaviyo of those people. Now Klaviyo does have to be connected to Shopify to do this, and there's plenty of videos out there on how to do that. So once you do that, then you can have that segment, and then what you need to do is create set up the integration in Klaviyo that connects to Facebook. Now you'll see on the left-hand side of Klaviyo, you'll see the integrations tab. All you do is go to that, and once you go to that section, you'll see Facebook, you connect it, it walks you through step-by-step how to do that. Last thing, to make sure that this all syncs up together, is you want to you go back to that segment, and then you go back and you go in that segment. I believe there's a settings section. It's above on the top where the segment is. So say you click into that all customer segment and you look on the top strip, you'll see like a settings section, and then you should be able to click on that and it will integrate. It'll be a custom audiences link in there, and you can essentially sync this segment to be a custom audience in Facebook. Now you're syncing across both, passing data back through, which this is going to be more important than ever too with iOS 14 coming out. So that is what you have to do in order to make sure that you are, across the board, excluding past customers and using Facebook as an acquisition channel versus just a revenue driver, and trying to get the best ROAS possible, knowing that you're reaching people who you can actually reach through Klaviyo or through whatever email platform you're using, and they'll likely purchase as well. So hopefully this video was helpful. I know that was a lot in one video, which is why I do YouTube videos, so that you can pause it, go back, play it again, and ask questions in the comments. So I will see you guys on the next video, and let me know how it goes. Let me know if you found this in your account when you looked, and let me know how the results are after you made the switch. I will note, you will probably see a jump in cost when it comes to ROAS. You'll see ROAS dip. I usually see ROAS dip like 3 to 5 points. So if you're getting like a 3 ROAS, you'll probably dip to like a 1. But if you're seeing like a 10, you'll drop to like a 7. So it'll drop dramatically because now you're actually prospecting. And then you also see customer acquisition costs increase, but you're actually acquiring more new customers. So if you were to look in Shopify from when you were previously running ads, say you spent $5,000 last month without doing this, $5,000 this month with doing this, you'd likely see that you acquired more customers this month, even though your costs inside of Facebook were a lot higher. So hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully you got something out of it, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this method.